Greetings and salutations, which is I, the Grand Voice, Derry Duke, and the last video had to be cut up into 2 parts. And because of that, well, here we are. Anyways, college football realignment since 2010. We left off around 2014. So, onwards with the madness. 2015 had a few shocks, namely Navy leaving Independence to join the American, and UAB dropping football altogether, and a whole fiasco, which is a bit much for me to dive into right now. 2016 didn't see anything all too exciting. It only saw UMass leave the MAC because they were terrible, and they will always be terrible because, look, the Northeast doesn't care about football whatsoever, aside from New England sometimes, but even then, they're more interested in hockey. And what does that mean for UMass? Constant failure. 2017 saw the reinstatement of UAB's football team and the addition of Coastal Carolina to the Sun Belt, as aforementioned in last video. Dang. And 2018 saw Idaho leave to the Big Sky and New Mexico State be forced into independence. Although at this time, Liberty also joined the FBS from the FCS ranks. 2019 saw literally nothing in terms of movement aside from Liberty being bowl eligible that year. Then we get to 2020. Do I really need to say much about how much of a hellhole 2020 was? Okay, I lied. There was only one team that truly moved. UConn left the American for independence. Oh, shock and awe! What terror might come? Although Notre Dame did join the ACC for a 1-year contract because COVID, and they already had some pre-existing stuff in terms of sports. They left immediately after the COVID season. Then 2021, the year of the Sun Belt's revenge, and also the American who helped start this shebang. The CUSA lost a huge list of members, which I'm gonna just read off the Wikipedia article. The CUSA lost this year, in 2021, Marshall, Old Dominion, Southern Miss. 6 other teams announced that they would also depart to the American. Charlotte, Florida Atlantic, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and UTSA, albeit this was in the wake of Cincy, Houston, and UCF leaving to the Big 12. This was a long list of teams that the CUSA lost. They were left with 5 members. How they survived is incredible. Those 5 teams that remained were Middle Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, FIU, and UTEP. Now, this list was almost 3 because Middle Tennessee State and Western Kentucky were debating on joining the MAC. And if that were to happen, game over for CUSA. It would have never survived till today. Now, what happened to the CUSA so that they could survive is that they added a couple independents. The return of conference playing New Mexico State and the foundation of conference playing Liberty, along with a couple other additions in the upcoming years of Jacksonville State and Sam Houston, both incredibly strong FCS powers, although Sam Houston's recent record does not show this. They will also be adding Kennesaw State next year, whose FCS records, I believe, was 0-12. I have little hope for them in the FBS. Then we come to this year, where this is a very sad year. This is the year the Pac-12 dies, also BYU joined the Big 12. In 2022, USC and UCLA announced that they accepted offers from the Big Ten to join the Big Ten Conference. You know how much I hate this if you saw the last video. If you didn't watch the last video, I advise you do. But those weren't the only teams to leave from the Pac-12. Colorado announced that they would be returning to the Big 12. And they said that they'd take alongside them Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah. Alright, the Pac-12 is now down to the Pac-6. We can still survive. They're making a nice little Northwestern League. Ooh, that's pretty cool. But then the University of Oregon and the University of Washington announced that they too would be joining the Big Ten, which then put the Pac-12 in a pit of turmoil. They only had 4 members left. How are they going to survive as a conference? Which is exactly what Cal and Stanford thought because they accepted invitations to join the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. They joined the Atlantic Coast Conference in the middle of the Bay Area in California. They, alongside Southern Methodist, a school in Dallas, joined the Atlantic Coast Conference. Do I have the mic so close to my mouth? To emphasize how dumb this move is. Mind you, all of these moves are for all sports, not just football, with the exception of UConn's move to independence, because they were members of the Big East, the new Big East, not the old Big East. I will not go further on this. All of these are all sports moves, meaning that every single team out of Cal and Stanford now have to play on the East Coast. This isn't just the football teams, which kind of already do that somewhat regularly. This also includes baseball, softball, soccer, track and field. These sports that do not earn any money whatsoever. They're going to get shafted because of the expenses of traveling the entirety of the country. So while an ill fate lies above the heads of all those other teams, the two remaining Pac-12 teams, Oregon State and Washington State, were left very, very much high and dry in terms of what they're able to do. They joined with the Big West for all other sports and the Mountain West for football. Although, as a quick aside, I do have to go on a rant. Today is April 4th, and that means April Fool's is pretty close by. So, I'm looking around doing some research for this, not just on Wikipedia, lo and behold. So I'm doing some research, and I find an article, Oregon State to the Big Ten. I look into this. It's posted on April 2nd, 6 in the morning. Read through it entirely, and at the bottom it says April Fool's. Now, that's not how April Fool's works. April Fool's works by you posting it on April Fool's, i.e. the 1st of April. Anyways, back to it. All that's left for the Pac-12 to do is wait 2 years and die, or recruit enough members to stay afloat, that being 7. Now, most people just speculate that they'll merge with the Mountain West, which does work out in their favor, as the Pac-12 members, the current ones, Oregon State and Washington State, won a legal dispute over custody of the title Pac-12, so they can use it as a leveraging point with the Mountain West, saying, yeah, we'll merge with you, and then you guys get to keep the name Pac-12, which would be incredibly ironic for San Diego State. Now, there was a lot of stuff about San Diego State that almost happened but didn't. They were almost given an invitation to join the Pac-12 before it completely fell apart alongside Southern Methodist, and they announced that they'd leave the Mountain West for a quote-unquote unnamed conference. They were still waiting on their invitation. That invitation never came. San Diego State begged and pleaded to be kept in the Mountain West. They were let back in with a very small slap on the wrist. Also happening around this time, I should mention, not just the 2020 debacle. Before USC and UCLA announced that they would leave, Texas and Oklahoma announced that they'd leave the Big 12 to join the SEC. They are going to die in the SEC. Now, after this, there aren't many more major moves coming in 2024. Mostly just small, minor things. Army leaving independence to join the American along with their brother Navy. Kennesaw State finally becoming a full member of the CUSA. Dear Lord in heaven, may they have some mercy. And Delaware also joining the CUSA because they really wanted a new stadium, and the people giving out the money said, we're not going to give you money unless you join the FBS. And they did so. Oh, and UMass is also rejoining the MAC. They're gonna die there too. Also, like and subscribe and all that stuff. Did the things change color? Let me know if they changed color. Comment right. More algorithm stuff. Okay, till bit bye.